This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSPORT Fan Network. TalkSPORT. Powered by fans.
Hello and welcome back to Red Side of the Trent as Forest head back into third place in the Premier League as they do the double over Spurs for the first time since 1997. I am sure Nuno will be enjoying a glass of wine or two in the next couple of days. Delighted to be joined by Reece Lane, Christian Brown and Danny Tring. Do apologise in advance, guys. My voice is absolutely shot after last night. Been coming back from London at 2 a.m, but it was well worth the travel. Me and Reece saw about 8 goals yesterday. We were in Boreham Wood as a ground off as well, which was a great day out. Danny Tring, how are you first of all?
I'm good, thank you. Even better after the win.
Yeah,
It was never in doubt, was it?
Well, talk us about how you felt after that game last night, mate.
I just felt we're in a Champions League race now, so it's like we're in a position where we've got to take care of ourselves. The facts are, majority of the teams are going to win around us because that's why they're there. We're there for the same reason they're there. And at the end of the day, it's a Spurs team that's 16th, 17th in the league. They've obviously got one eye on the Europe game. So for me, it was a game where if we go and win like we did, it brings that confidence back that we needed. And I feel like as a fan base, it's like lifted everyone. I think after the Everton game, everyone were a bit like, we're gonna bottle it, we're gonna do this. Whereas it answered all the questions I feel like a majority of us need us answering. So no, for me, I'm more than happy. I'll be even happier come Sunday, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if anyone's watching on YouTube, I hope they can actually see you, Danny. You look very blended into that background. I do say so myself.
Camouflage.
Hidden in plain sight. Christian, it was never in doubt for yourself. Obviously, you waxed lyrical about how much your love and hatred of Ange Postecoglou is. Probably I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't get the words out. But yeah, never in doubt for yourself. I'm sure. I bet you were gloating as ever.
Oh, mate, I mean, it's quite nice to go to games and call it within 15 minutes, isn't it? But normally it's us that happens against. But yeah, no, very good. A bit like you, my voice is a bit all over the place today. But yeah, massive win last night. What matters at this stage, you'll hear all these pundits, naysayers, and jealous fans of other clubs go, oh, it's unsustainable, oh, but the XG, oh, this, that, and the other. Only thing that matters now at this stage is points. Worry about the rest of it next season. Just get enough points over the line and worry about whatever comes next. And we got 3 last night.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Reece, we were obviously together. I mean, nerve-wracking, but we got the job done. And I mean, Danny alluded to earlier, like we needed an answer because we had a bit of a setback at the weekend. But it seems like Forest this season have done that every single time we've had a setback. We've never lost 3 games in a row, have we? Fortunately.
Yeah. The barriers what get put in front of us. It was the same in the promotion season. Wanted knocking through them barriers. You know, we got to the playoffs that season. It was about, can we get to the final? We've never done that before. We did it. Then when we got to the final, we went in as favourites. Can we get over the line? We did it. So this team, similar to that team from the promotion season, just keep knocking down barriers, and they did it again last night. I mean, I wouldn't have said it was a must win for me, but I said all along it's a should win. Tottenham are 16th for a reason. You know, if, like I said, if that was a team with less reputation, let's say, I don't know, West Ham, we'd all be saying last night, yeah, we should be going there and winning. So it was a should win, and we did win. They've got their eyes on Europa League. You could tell with the slight rotation up front, and also they brought the 2 centre-halves off at half-time who were their starting centre-half because they probably don't want any injuries, or Romero to get himself sent off because he was close. So, yeah, until typical Forest hard way. It was job done, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's for sure. But we're going to go into team first of all, Danny. I mean, a shock to the system, I would say, is an understatement when you see Harry Toffolo lining up for the first time since May last year. But he came in for Alex Moreno, Danilo came in for Callum Hudson-Odoi, and Anthony Elanga was restored to the starting lineup for Jota Silva. When that team came out at like 7:15, did you nearly fall off your chair at home?
It was one of them, I think. After Moreno's performance against Everton, I don't think it was as big a shot that Toffolo was put in. I mean, I'm not one of them that's going to, because Moreno's had a bad game, say he's absolutely crap. So I disagree. I think he's a decent player, but I mean, to bring Toffolo in out the cold like that, like you say, with the first start of the season, yes, I was surprised. I mean, the Danilo one, he's chucked Danilo in a few times now, hasn't he? It's like he chucked him in at United, chucked him in at Brighton. Chucked him in. Was it Brighton in the FA Cup as well? I think he started, didn't he? So the thing is, they are good players. It's like they have these games where, I mean, Danilo had a bit of a stinker, didn't he, against United, and I think people think all of a sudden that they know these aren't good enough, but it's like with Danilo. For me, if he turns up, he can win you a game. Like, that's the level you're at. So I wasn't as shocked as I think many people was. It's at the point now, can we really question what he does? Like, it's like, can we start going, oh no, I mean, I think Dominguez should start every game, but it's like, do we really need to start questioning, like, are these players that have been good enough? I mean, Toffolo was a bit of a different one. I mean, Toffolo was a good championship player. He is a good championship player. But no, if you ask me, was I dead shocked? I was surprised. I wouldn't say I was like, oh, what is he doing kind of thing. I was just like, yeah, see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I was just a bit surprised about with what formation was lining up, how we was going to play. It was very fascinating to watch, and then you could kind of see what was happening with it all. But I mean, I was surprised with Tottenham's lineup as well, to be honest with you, Danny. I mean, shocked that they actually put out more or less a full strength side.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the thing. But I mean, we alluded to the teams we're up against. Look at the side they have. Look at the bench they have. Like, and we look at what we're doing and how well we're doing. They could have swapped 4 players. Like I say, that tells that started. You'd argue we'd take him, wouldn't we? Like, I know it's like he would take him. The other winger that on the right hand side, he's a good player. Richarlison, they're all good players. Like, I know people will have their opinions on certain things, but they're all good players. So what they've left 5 probably of the real, maybe 4 of the real starters, but they've still got a brilliant squad. I mean, Kulusevski, I take him tomorrow at Forest. I think is absolute quality. Like, when you've got that quality on the pitch, just like Christian alludes to with Ange, it just shows you, doesn't it? The players that they've got for them to be where they are, there's big questions to be had, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Christian, fast start though yesterday. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, I think we have to talk about the lead up to the corner before Elliot Anderson does score. I mean, it's an unbelievable pass from himself to Gibbs White to get him the opportunity, and then I don't know how the ball quite frankly forced to Elliot Anderson, but I'm quite glad it did because he struck it brilliantly, and we got lucky with the deflection. But great start at 3-point lane, as everyone used to call it, or still does call it.
Yeah, well, I suppose you make your own luck, don't you? I mean, I thought that the ball from Anderson was great to Gibbs White, absolute perfect pass, really. But it was weird because when he hit it initially, Gibbs White, you saw the ball was violently curved from where we were. I was like, hang on, that's going bottom corner. And I don't think you didn't quite get that watching the TV replay. But no, obviously, it's nice to know there's a team in the league that's worse at dealing with set pieces than Forest. And because the way Spurs dealt with that was shambolic, to put it mildly. I mean, this is what I mean. Like, these tactics, I don't care if it works against St Johnstone or it works against Rafe or teams like that. It isn't going to work in the Premier League. What are they doing to a man, Spurs there? It's just laughably poor. But no, obviously, the sort of bounces around. No one really claims any responsibility for it. I've got no issue with Anderson smashing it like that. Because that's exactly why. That's exactly what happens, or what can happen. Yeah, he gets lucky at the deflection. Yes, the keeper, well, I mean, huge question marks there, really. but who cares? You make your own luck. We worked it well. We started quite aggressively, I thought, Forest, to be fair. Obviously, it was weird because it was a very similar. It was the same 4-4-2 as was for the Everton game, but you notice a difference that Elanga brings that Jota simply doesn't, and it's huge. Like from the get go, every time Elanga got the ball, you could tell they were nervous, Spurs, and you could see sort of like looking for that sort of long ball over the top to sort of get him behind that high line. But yeah, no, very very good goal. We've all said that Anderson's main weakness, but like Gibbs White's really says there isn't enough goals there really, but obviously he makes up for that with his all-round game. But yeah, so it is nice to see him get on the score sheet and sort of drawing up for that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just talking about Elanga, like, I mean, Romero tried to siphon him down in the first couple of minutes as well.
I'll say it again. I know obviously we've had this in our group chat and he has his official's hat on today. I'm convinced if Romero was a Forest player yesterday, he sent off before half time. He should have long gone before. He was lunging in like within the first 10 minutes, you can see then he was rattled. And Sky 6 by, I say.
It's bad that they've got someone like him who's a World Cup winner and he's just so erratic. He's absolutely lunatic.
He doesn't want to be there, does he? Let's be real. His head's gone. He's openly talking after the game about going to La Liga. I mean, imagine about all of our players. We'd be absolutely furious if one of our players just came out, star players, when actually, I don't fancy it anymore. I want to go to summer. But oh god.
I mean, I'm surprised he's even still playing.
And he was their captain as well on the night, by the way. and he wants to go. I mean, that sums them up, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're sticking with yourself, Reece, while you're off mute. I mean, we doubled the lead. Well, we thought we doubled the lead quite quickly through Chris Ward. I mean, it's an unbelievable cross from Elliot Anderson. I mean, I didn't even know the ball had gone in until you started cheering in a sense, because I was like a bit shell-shocked it had gone through Vicario. But then I think you also alluded you was expecting the linesman's flag to go, but I wasn't expecting to be so close that it was on the replay, actually.
Yeah, I actually seen it go in for a split second because, like you said, Vicario made a mess of it. I mean, he made a mess of everything, didn't he, really, last night? And then the flag stayed down. And then, because obviously we're in this VAR age, you're kind of scrambling on WhatsApp and messaging your mates who are watching at home saying, is that on or off? Because they're going to know before you. And obviously my partner said, yeah, he's unfortunately just offside. It is offside, isn't it, unfortunately? At least now we can say for certainty it's offside rather than these thickness of lines. But I guess, his head and his shoulder are offside where he's not gained any advantage common sense-wise, has he? Because he scored with his foot and you're trying to break the line. But that is what it is. But it was a warning for them and they didn't learn because, as we're going to come on to now, a few minutes later, we didn't make it 2-0 from a similar kind of action, really.
Yeah, I mean, Danny, what are Tottenham doing? Like, no one tracks Elanga making that run. Then he gets all the time and space to cross the ball in. And I mean, he got his 15th goal involvement, 10 assists now for the season for Anthony Elanga, which is a great achievement for himself and for the team following from last season. Woodhead's in his 90th goal of the season. He can keep them banana boots on now. I've forgiven him a bit about that. But Reece 2.0 called Vicario flap Stam, which I thought was brilliant, to be fair, as well.
No, I mean, I think it was half-time, Carragher and that Will, it was on?
The Will Still, was it?
Yeah, well, they said it was like a nothing cross by Elanga. I'm thinking, what more do you want from a winger? He's literally drilled it. You can't really defend against it. They're saying it's just like a nothing cross. I'm thinking they must. Well, it's like you say, there's a bias, isn't there? But we've tried it a couple of times, haven't we? That set piece, like over the last few months, we've seen it a couple of times. That little ball. Sometimes it's just gone out for a throw. Sometimes it's come off. And I mean, it's one of them. It's a training routine. That's work. Yeah, there's question marks about them letting the cross come in, but how many times do you see a ball like that getting put in the box? Not very often of that quality. How many crosses they put in? 50 odd, I think they were saying yesterday. So it's like, and Wood's done what any striker who scored 18 goals in the Premier League you'd expect to do. He's got in between centre halves. Centre halves can't pick him up at that time, marking space, and he's finished it. I mean, quality, absolute quality. Brilliant goal for me. I mean, yeah, Vicario, should he come? No, he shouldn't, but that's I mean, they've been questioned about him all season, and luckily he hasn't done what they usually do when they have question marks against him, have a worldie game against us like we have in the past with some keepers. But now, more than happy with that goal. And like I say, we're unfortunate with the disallowed goal. And now with Reece, it's like, is that really gaining an advantage? It's basically your body movement. Your feet are planted in the same position as the centre half. You're just leaning forward because that's your natural movement, whereas the centre half's natural movement is to attack a ball. So, but rules are rules. But no, I'm more than happy with it. Brilliant goal. Nice to see one come off of, like you say, a bit of a training drill. Nice to see Wood get the goals. I thought he was really good last night. Wood, brilliant. Good to see him back.
He looked back to his best in his sharp. He was winning duels and all sorts, and I thought he was really led the line really well before he came off. And then I thought Taiwo did well in his spot in when he got this opportunity as well. But Christian, just seeing out the first half, I mean, I was a little concerned about our left-hand side with Toffolo and Odebear and Pedro Porro kind of trying to find a way to put balls in our box. I mean, the ball flashed across our box a fair few times, and I think if Dom Solanke or even, I mean, Reece mentioned to me in the ground, if Harry Kane was still playing for him, he'd have had a hatful. But I thought at half-time, I know we will talk about the switch in a minute, but I thought Nuno got it right with that tactic in terms of switching it to give us a bit more stability, that especially on both sides, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised he did it so quickly. I thought he might have done it off about the hour mark or so. But yeah, I think we could all see like the amount they were swinging balls in. We probably needed more than anything else, just to push the wing backs a bit wider, to sort of to stop and it worked for the first 25 minutes of the second half or so. To be fair, because they weren't crossing from so close to the box or looking to get one-on-one every single time, because that's what they were doing. Whereas it was Tell or Odegaard or even Spence, to be fair, they were looking to get one-on-one every single time and just try and get by. And so, yeah, obviously, I'm not surprised that stops. Obviously, as well, if you are going to let them cross the ball like that too, because we are quite narrow and compact, if they are going to be like that, Richarlison might look fairly slight, but he's all elbows. He's quite a physical player. So you maybe need another body in there as well defensively too to head it clear. So I wasn't surprised to see Morata come on. It was just more so early. I think what strikes me is that we basically, as soon as that second goal went in, it was like Forest just went, all right, screw it, all eyes on Sunday now. And you can sort of see that in the sort of the minutes that the players played as well. I don't mean that in like disparaging way either, but you can sort of see that they stopped attacking. I think we had one more shot on goal after that Wood goal, and that was one Gibbs White shanked wide in the second half with his left foot. Other than that, we just were happy to defend and sit in. Pretty much game over from that point. I mean, I think I saw Iraola say that you can't let Forest take the lead, because as soon as you let Forest take the lead, you have to play their game, and they're very happy playing their game, and it's very difficult to break them down. And as we saw with Spurs, it was what I don't know about you, how you two felt, but I kept looking at the clock, and it was like I'm sure we'll come on to some of the big self saves or whatever else, or the Toffolo clearance, for example. But I think it was after the self save from Richarlison's header, I looked at the clock. It was like, oh Jesus, there's only 10 minutes left. It was like it just felt like a whole half went by, or 3/4 of a half, and they didn't really do anything. They just sort of had lots and lots of the ball. We're still kept very tight. I think, like I said before, we live in an era now where defending sort of frowned upon. It's sort of seen as like unfancy, because you have to make 700 billion passes to sort of do anything apparently. And it's, there's many ways to skin a cat. I think, like I said, there's that Huddersfield fan, weren't there, who said there's, in the Premier League, you've got Man City, you've got 18 teams, who play like Man City, and then there's Forest, who just have their own sort of system. And it works. Like, you've got lots of elitist snobs sort of, frowning upon us and sort of saying, oh, it can't last, oh, they can't keep doing that, oh, this, that, and the other. It's like, well, we've got 5 games left of the season, we've got 60 points. Even if you ended it now, we're still likely to be in a European competition. If you told us at the start of the season, we'd have snapped your hand off. We thought we probably got your sections. It would have been you wouldn't even be able to think about European football this season. So, it's, the way we defended yesterday, I thought was very good. It came from that switch. Was it the most easiest of games we've had this season? No, like recently, too, a lot of balls across the box, but I still felt most fairly comfortable. And you can say about their XG being this, that, and the other. I never really felt like they were going to score. So,
yeah, I mean, one thing I did want to touch on just before I move on was you surprised that it was Anthony Elanga that came off for Morata? Because I think if Nuno knew that Ben Davies and Kevin Danzo was going to come on for their two centre halves, do you think he might have changed his mind, or do you think he was quite happy to do it regardless?
He's probably happy to do it, guys. I mean, obviously, he's been very carefully looked after, isn't he, Elanga? Obviously, he got 45 at Villa, was taken off with the slightest precaution. He got maybe half hour at Everton, 45 again today. I expect him to start on Sunday and probably to play the whole game, realistically speaking. So, unless he gets injured again. But this is what I mean. It sort of felt like, if you look at the minutes the players got, for example, Dominguez played an hour, Hudson-Odoi played half an hour. Even Wood came off with 20 to go, for example. We just mentioned there, Elanga coming on for 45 minutes, for example. These four players especially, will have big parts to play on Sunday moving forwards. And it just felt like we were sort of having full confidence in our ability to defend, but also having one eye looking forward on the next fixture. Obviously, you can't get away with that more most of the time, but it's only Tottenham, isn't it? So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Reece, let's talk about some of the saves that Matt Sells made, and obviously Toffolo's goal line clearance. I mean, I don't know what sequence this cake come in, because my mind's been a bit of a blur, to be honest. I've not watched the highlights too many times. But let's start with the Matt Sells save where Nico Williams cannons the ball off Yates and it comes to Richarlison. I mean, how lucky can you get for one? But I mean, Matt Sells has been brilliant at like smothering in recent games. I think he's really come into his own in the last couple of months again. He's like gone up a level.
Yeah, I mean, he was quick off his line, wanting. That's all you can ask from a keeper in that situation. Quick off his line and definite of what he's going to do. And he come out and he obviously spread himself and made it difficult for Richarlison, and Richarlison hit it straight at him. The one down low, which was the carbon copy of the goal, wasn't it, really? Great save. I mean, the amount of... They put 48 crosses in, according to Sky, I think it was. And I did say to you, they kept getting Pedro Porro in that little pocket, didn't they? Just on the corner of the 18-yard box. And he's got a good whip on him, Pedro Porro. And I just thought they are going to get one or two where it's on the money, as it did. That was one. He saved it. Second time around, yeah, no mistake. And then obviously in typical Forest way, we had to do it the hard way, don't we? But and then finally, the Toffolo clearance. I mean, what can you say about that? He said in his interview, Ola Aina does that job. He did it against Southampton, didn't he, where he acrobatically cleared it off the line at a stretch. So he's kind of took that role on. And I mean, that looked incredible from the away end. And what I've said it, that is one of my bugbears in football. And I've said it all these years. We've done that podcast. A player on the post stops that goal every time. And so many teams will just leave that back post and that just flies in. Whereas we read the danger, Toffolo's bred it, and yeah, he's managed to clear it off the line. I mean, that was superb, and yeah, but they're going to have chances because we've said it, haven't we? Spurs are all out attack. We play counter-attacking football, so they are going to get chances odd times, and that's why Matt Sells has been so superb this season, because most of the time he's been there to keep the ball out of the net, which is what he's paid to do. I know all these nerds who never kicked a ball on Twitter are like, oh, he's outperforming all this XG and all this crap. But a goalkeeper's there to save shots from going in the net, and that's what he does. And he was excellent again last night. So, yeah.
Well, also the good goalkeepers save the harder chances to save, don't they? And he's been doing that all season. I mean, his catalogue this year and his highlight reel is going to be unreal.
I don't know. I mean, did Ricardo get in team of the season last season? Or he was a contender at least. I don't know what's happened with him, because he was just all over the place last night. And I actually think if Gibbs White would have hit the target with that chance he had, I think that would have gone by him as well. Just unfortunately, he should have hit the target, really. Just unfortunately couldn't, which would have put us 3-0 up and we would have been cruising then. But yeah, it's always the hard way into it with Forest. So we had probably nearly 10 minutes of aging again. But yeah, we got the job done in the end.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Danny, after Richarlison did half the deficit, how did you feel watching it from home? Was you quite calm still, or was you a little bit nervous? Because actually, I think we actually handled it really, really well. I think we had the ball in the corner for a good 2 or 3 minutes, didn't we?
Yeah, it's like 10 minutes up to the goal. It was all hands on deck. We were defending then they scored. Then all of a sudden, we shifted into a gear where we're like, oh, we'll just see the game out now. And it was like strange. It was bizarre. It was like they scored and then didn't really pose any threat. And to be fair, I mean, it doesn't take much for me to big Taiwo up, but Taiwo was a big part of that. He occupied it. There was moments where he looked like he couldn't run, literally couldn't run, and then there were moments where he got that ball, come inside, threaded it to Hudson-Odoi, then he's done that step over at edge of box and ran it to corner. So I think we just relieved the pressure. We was actually quite smart, weren't we? Like for the first time in a long time. Well, I think we've been like it under Nuno. To be fair, it was like, yeah, we look like a Premier League team. Like when we first come up, I think we used to play teams. I think West Ham were a nightmare for it. You'd play them and get to extra time, and the ball wouldn't be in play. It'd be 8 minutes of just them on the floor, and that's what we got it to. I mean, they played an extra nearly 2 minutes anyway. And I thought, do you know what? I thought Sousa did all right when he come on and all. I know it was only a short cameo, but he come on and he's quite direct, and it was a bit of a threat. He would like come on at the right time where he gave us a bit of, because he's not slow, is he? He gave us a bit of like an outlet. But bizarrely, they scored, and all of a sudden, in a couple of minutes, it was like comfortable for me. But before that, like I say, I mean, Sells, he's been outstanding, hasn't he? It's like, you look at him and, I mean, there's still question marks. I think sometimes he's not dominant enough at coming for crosses, but that's picking tiny faults. It's paid to me. It's like you say when they're going about these XGs and that. It's like, realistically, the save from Richarlison, brilliant save, but you'd want him to save it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he doesn't save it, you're looking and thinking, you're all saying, oh, could he have saved it? Whereas he's making saves where, like you said, the good saves, but what they're there to do, it's pointless. It's like, how would they gone on them XG geeks years ago when Jaskalainen used to play in that for Bolton? What would he have been? No good. Was he always out doing his XG? Because he was the same. He tended to be like that, didn't he? He was brilliant. And Sells has got that bit about him. He's a sharp player at season, isn't he? Let's be honest. Like, we're looking at it now. You'd probably go on games this season. If you're picking moments, he might have had most of them where they've kept us in games or even won us games. So, no, I thought after they scored, strangely, I mean, Johnson come on, he's got no bottle, has he? I mean, he comes on and I think Morata went straight through him, didn't he? Ran straight over him, and it was a bit like, you could tell he was like, nah, I don't know if I fancy this one. So, no, after the goal, I'd say, I'm comfortable. And they was, I think.
You actually stole a point that I was going to ask, and I may as well ask it now, because I was talking to Chris Elmer from Forest All Over, and he was saying Sells is really making a case to win Player of the Season. I mean, I'll ask you all, so we've got 5 games left. If Chris Wood scores over 20 goals, does he get it? Or does Matt Sells get it if he keeps another couple of clean sheets? Danny, start with yourself.
If I'm not going to sit on the fence. I'll pick one. I'm going to go with Matt Sells, I think. I'm going to go Matt Sells. I think we all know it's like, as much as football through the years, look what Liverpool did. They went and signed a world-class keeper. Look at what every good team does. They have a good keeper. If you haven't got a good keeper, it's like, yeah, you need players to score goals, and Wood's been phenomenal. I'm not going to downplay Wood at all, but if you're going on individual moments and bits and bobs like that, for me, yeah, I'll put my neck on the line. I'll go Sells for me.
Blimey, Christian.
Oh, it's difficult, man. I mean, you in theory, you could put 11. I think the way I'm going to decide actually is probably this way. I'm going to write down 11 names. So Sells, Williams, Murillo, Milenkovic, Aina, Dominguez, Anderson, Hudson-Odoi, Elanga, Gibbs-White, and Woods. Just throw them into a bowl, and whatever one I pick will be a player of the season. So it's so difficult to choose. It really is so hard. But of course, Sells can win it. He's been phenomenal this season. I mean, he's very. It's weird how it's worked out, because all logic would suggest it shouldn't have worked out the way it has, because he was, 5th, 6th, 7th choice in January. We were scrambling around to sort of, fix a gaping hole in the team, which won't. There's no need going into any further. No, we could all see Forest in the goalkeeper. We got very desperate, and we were asking anyone. And eventually, Sales came over, and he wasn't even at the start of the season, even at points in the first half of this season. After that double game where we had against Newcastle and Arsenal, where he was at fault for 2 goals in 2 games, sort of thinking, this is a long-term issue we've got here. Since then, it's his consistency levels have been absolutely outrageous, Sales. And there's been so many games where he's kept us in it, or like you said, his save catalogue this season is going to be off the charts. You will look at him. Someone will put a compilation. It'd be like Giroud's best goals. We'll put a compilation together. I think, Jesus Christ, this guy's like Ballon d'Or winner. But to put it mildly, can Sales win it? Yeah, and if he does win it, I don't think anyone can really argue with it. I mean, I think I probably will go for Milenkovic, being personally honest. But if Sales wins it, you can't really contest it.
No, definitely not. I mean, Reece, last of all, anything different to add?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't at the minute have them two as player of the season for me. For me, it'd be Milenkovic because, yeah, like I say, is what is coming at the back, the set piece issues, and that. I'm just looking at a stat here from him. He's one of the best duel success in the air, 50 plus duels in the Premier League. Won 138 out of 197. I don't think he lost an aerial duel last night, but you could literally write down, like Christian said, 12 names, which is probably the main 11 and either Dominguez/Yates, and you could make a case for all of them to be player of the season. I know you laughing, but people will make a case for him as much as we don't agree, right? So Sales is definitely in the conversation, isn't he? He is, because he's just been so good. It's really, really tough. It's really tough. I mean, it'd be Milenkovic for me if I had to pick one, because I won't sit on the fence. But if someone said to me, well, I disagree with you, Reece, I'm going to pick Matt Sales, I won't argue with him, because they make a good case for it, because he's been brilliant. And like Christian said, it was, just a £5 million transfer, because the goalkeepers that last season were that bad. We just had to get someone in who was quite calm. And last season he come in, I thought, yeah, he's all right. He's calm. His distribution's pretty good, kicking. I think he's an all right shot stopper. He's all okay, commanding. And then this season, as other players, he's just gone from strength to strength. His shot stopping's been remarkable. Like Danny said, yeah, odd times I think he could be a bit more stronger, commanding his area. But you're literally nitpicking. He's just gone from strength to strength, and all the credit's got to go to Nuno and his staff, because players have improved massively after he's had a pre-season with them all. Pretty much every player's improved, and you're getting performances from players now which you didn't think was even possible last season. So definitely in the conversation for sure.
Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, I think the thing is with Wood and Sells, it's like, I feel like with them, it's a bit more of like an individual thing. It's like, you're right about, like with Milenkovic, it's like, Milencovic's been brilliant, but him and Murillo, it's like, they're a pair for me. It's like, where Milenkovic falls short, Murillo does well. Where Murillo falls short, Milenkovic does well. So I feel like, as good, like you say, there's no wrong answer. Well, there is a wrong answer, but there's no wrong answer. But for me, I think that's the only difference. It's like with the Sells and Wood thing. They're a bit more the goal scorers. It's individuals in it. It's like is a goal scorer as an individual. You look at your midfield. It's a bit more of a unit, isn't it? And then like we ain't got a midfielder who scored 15 goals, and you're like, he's the one. It's that, and then I say like with the defence. I mean, it's like with Aina. If Aina hadn't got injured, he'd have been a good shout, a very strong shout. But like we've all said, there's no wrong answer. That's nice, isn't it? We're not struggling to pick.
It's something they've said on TalkSPORT as well. Like Simon Jordan said, and this isn't disparaging. He's kind of said like we're kind of a dirty dozen kind of side, because all our team has faced rejection pretty much. You've got Matt Sells, who came to Newcastle early on his career, had to basically go back abroad to rebuild his career. Ola Aina was let go by Chelsea. Nico Williams was let go by Liverpool. Obviously, I know PSR, but Anderson wouldn't start for Newcastle. He wouldn't. He'd be on the bench because of their midfield, and that's not a slight on any Anderson. Alanga's been let go by Manchester United because he didn't think he was good enough. He'd get in their team easily now. Hudson-Odoi has been let go by Chelsea. when they're spending money, 80 odd million on people like Mackay and Mudryk, who now can't play because he's failed a drugs test, and Chris Wood was let go by Newcastle as well because they didn't think he was good enough. And he's better than, I know he's not better than Isak, but he's better than Callum Wilson, you know what I mean? So they've probably got points to prove. And Nuno the same. He obviously sacked by Spurs. He ends up in the Saudi League. Everyone probably thinks, well, that's him doing Premier League football. He comes back. Last season was a bit of a stinker for the whole club. He keeps us up. And you know how it was in the summer. Everyone thought, yeah, Forest going to be battling relegation. We had that, whatever idiot said, he was laughing, Nuno's going to be the first to sack because it's Forest. Well, they just keep proving people wrong, don't they? And that's all they can do. And I just hope we can do it for, 7 more games, hopefully, would be nice.
Yeah, and it's I don't think we've got anyone who's been, I think as a team we've looked good, haven't we? I think that's the thing. I don't think you look at us and think, God, he's playing out his skin. He's playing out his skin. Like, I look and I just think Milenkovic is probably playing at the level he plays at. Murillo plays at that level. Like, they're all playing. I mean, there's players that are playing really well, but I don't think that you could pin down, like you say, God, he's carried us. No one's carried us, have they? That's what I'm saying.
You look at Real Madrid with all the players they've got. They don't look a team; they're a team of individuals, and that's why they're getting absolutely slapped by Arsenal over 2 legs. Because at least like Arteta's actually got them as a unit, you know what I mean? And that's what we are. Everyone's working for themselves. There's no big time Charlies, and credit again to Nuno and his staff because this is the standards he's set for the club across this season.
Yeah, it's been incredibly industrious. I mean, I think no matter what happens from now to the end of the season, I think we'll be very, very proud of him. And hopefully we're having this conversation where we're struggling to pick whoever is our player of the season from a pod point of view, and we're celebrating getting into the highest echelons of European football. But we are going to move on. Everyone's going to hear my croaky voice on repeat now with some of your slept on it thoughts.
Red side of the Trent. Slept on it thoughts.
Thank you very much, everyone that has got in touch. Sorry if I don't read them all out. But Alex, all of that head loss just to end the match a week in third. Pretty much guaranteed to be going away in Europe next year. Another mid-table side, humble at their own ground again. Spurs, big ground, pathetically small club. Anderson and Dominguez absolutely ran the show. Brilliant. NFFC cares. Man of the match was Anderson. No one else came near. Absolutely superb. If Aina is back for the weekend and Williams is suspended and Toffolo has to start based on the last 2 games. Far better tonight than Moreno was against Everton. Premier Elliott, we have taken 20 points from the Sky 6 this season. Danilo is wasted on the wings. Get him in the midfield in the spring without hair dye, and he'll do his job. Today's fact is the G in G Unit stands for garlic, as 50 Cent has a well-known fear of vampires. Very good, I like that. Nigel Clough is the son of God. After the meltdown we've seen on Forest timeline this weekend, that was a very welcome performance and result indeed. Ando, Sells, and Toffolo, all heroes, believe. Danny, you've had your say in this. I'm reading yours out. Results are all that matters now. Anderson, fantastic. Dominguez and Danilo, brilliant first half. Sells wins us the game. Morgan White should have put the game to bed. Fair play to Toff, cracking shift. Sooner Aina back at the right back, the better though. Carl Booth, another double over a supposed big 6 club. What a season. All eyes on Wembley now and a rejuvenated City. And regardless of that result, we will at least have some suspended fresh legs available for Brentford. Gary Baldy Nerd, one more win and a Palace loss. One more win and a Palace loss on Saturday in European football guaranteed. We are living the dream, boys. Tough or Ando for man of the match. Peaches, never in doubt. Don't mind us grinding out as many results as possible. Fantastic from Tough. Even Delio played well. Trust Nuno and keep dreaming. Capanosity, that performance had a massive Sauron-sized eye on Wembley. It was all about trying to squeeze the very most out of the very least. By Christ, it was nervy. The team really showing signs of running on fumes. Man of the match, Anderson. Frank the Tank, I'm so relieved about that win. This stage of the season, I'm happy to grind out the wins. I don't think my heart can take any more games like that. It was like that Zulu film. Martin Fretwell, what a win. Not pretty, but 3 points was all that mattered. The boys back to their battling best. And a few more. We've got Martin, D. Warden, man of the match, Anderson. Great forward passing. Work rate was phenomenal. Leader at crucial times. Thank you very much for everyone that got in touch. I mean, we'll move on to some player performances. I'm going to start with yourself, Danny. As the new leader of the Nico Dominguez fan club, although Reese did say when I mentioned this, I said, where are your stickers? Because we've made some. Will be available. We'll send you some.
Yeah, I could do with one. No, it's just brilliant, I think. I mean, for me, I said it on Twitter, like, I think in the last 2 months, he's been, I think, probably the best player. Like, over the games, he's been outstanding, and there's still people who doubt him. I'm like, are they like I say, are they blind? I can't see why you can't see how good he is. Let's be right, like, if he goes in the summer, he's going to play in Europe. Like, that's where he's going. That's how good he is. Like, he was brilliant. He must cover the amount of ground he covers, and he's not stupid in the tackle. The one where Kulusevski's got it on the edge of the box and like his back to goal, and he's just ushered him away, not fouled him, not gone straight into the back on him. And I mean, how many times did he chase a ball where it ended up having to go back to their keeper? 3-4 times. I mean, he could be better on the ball at times. There were a ball he could have slipped through to Elanga. But then if he starts doing that, what we're looking at, like, that's the play we're on. We keep saying the difference that we need. And I'm not for any minute saying Nico Dominguez is the best midfielder in the league. I'm not. But for me, he should start every game for Forest. At the minute, he should start every game. No, I'm not in, like, I hear people say, "Oh, there's horses for courses." For me, they're in, because he can. I know everyone will go on like whether Yates. He can do everything Ryan Yates can do better than him. He was brilliant in the air last night. It was brilliant in the air. He epitomises everything that we're about. And sometimes in this season, I felt sorry for him at times where he'd been brilliant and took out the side, and it's like, why they took him out the side? Bournemouth was the prime example. He played at Everton were brilliant, and we went to Bournemouth away, and he dropped him. And I mean, to be fair, after 45 minutes, he knew he'd messed up. But I know what unfolded was absolute battering. But it's been brilliant for us. And I thought last night, the minute he come off, I thought we missed him. But then I'm glad he come off, because he's got a big game Sunday. And over there, if it weren't for Anderson, I mean, Anderson wasn't playable yesterday. I thought he wasn't playable. Like, he was stronger than the morning tackle. He was better with the ball. He got a goal. It was like a midfielder where you're like, God, this guy's unbelievable. And I thought Dominguez was up there just balancing it nice with him. And yeah, for me, steady 8 out of 10. But it's not often you don't get that from him. You don't. The only thing I want to see is, like, I don't like this constant. That's what upsets me with it a bit. It's like at Everton, it was 65 minutes. You know, Yates is coming on for Dominguez, and it's like, I don't think we need to be doing that all the time. But it does cover some ground. So who am I to question Nuno? But no, brilliant for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I felt sorry for Dominguez, because obviously we swapped him in a deal with Remo Freuler going to Bologna in the other way, and then Bologna went and got the Champions League, and I'm like, oh, we've took him away from that. So hopefully he'll get back in Europe with ourselves. And I absolutely love it. I wrote a stat out yesterday, Danny. I mean, the Earth is covered by 71% of water, and the rest is by Nico Dominguez. So put that in your pipe and smoke it.
He was captain for Bologna as well.
Can I just very quickly, Dominguez? Do you think one of the things is, and Danny, I'll ask you this, is because he does everything so cleanly, so you never actually really notice him doing things. So, for example, and this isn't a criticism, but I don't want to turn into sort of Yates-Dominguez battle, but Yates is very full-blooded in what he does. If he wins a tackle, the whole stadium knows about it, for example. If he wins a header, everyone knows about it. It's very, like, pronunciated. Dominguez is he just nips in, does it, and goes. And I guess that sometimes maybe gets lost in sort of translation, perhaps, but I completely agree with you, for example. I mean, he's one of my favourite players. He's one of the best players on the pitch every time he plays. And was it 8 duels he won last night, for example, all 3 in the air, like you said, that he contested for. But do you think just because he isn't maybe as extravagant in how he does it, he's just very neat and tidy, it sort of gets overlooked a little bit?
Nah, I think, I'll be brutally honest, I think it's because he takes Ryan Yates' shirt. That's it. That's the facts. It's not, let's be right. You see that if they kick a ball down the line and Yates sticks his foot out and it goes out for a throw and the crowd erupts, like, let's be right. Like, I'm not gonna turn around and sit on the fence and say, oh no, I think it's because it's cleaner than him. I don't. I think it's because there's a majority of fans who would rather see Yates in there regardless, and that's fine. Like, if you reason that is because Yates is your favourite player, that's it. But for me, no, I don't think it's the fact that he's cleaner. He's just a better footballer, and it's like that's all it comes down to. For me, because it's just, like I say, he doesn't tend to foul, does he? He doesn't tend to. It just, like you say, it is cleaner, but I don't think that's an excuse to not be like, oh no, yeah, that's maybe not why he gets the plaudits, because I think it's people who's got a bit of a footballing brain see him and think he's unbelievable. Like, and then if people are questioning him, get him down on charity games. Let's say look at him. See if
Stop trying to cause anarchy on this podcast, Danny, for crying out loud. You're going to cause mayhem. But no, we'll move on. Christian, you bagsied Danilo in the chat, so take it away.
Yes, I did, because he was outstanding yesterday, Danilo. That's Danilo we all know and love. That is the classic archetypal April onwards Danilo that just comes to the fore and just rescues a season or does whatever he has to do. That's Danilo that Danilo obviously insisted and fell in love with, plays him every game that we win, for example. I think the most pleasing thing was, like, he just seems so at home. It was the first time we've seen him. I know obviously he's played a bit since. Obviously he played very well in the Brighton game, we won 7-0. That lovely ball on the right wing, for example, for the first goal. But admittedly, that did come with the caveat that Brighton decided that a one-man midfield was sufficient. But yesterday, he was so good at knitting things up. He was so good at, more importantly, winning fouls, winning tackles, winning his battles. And there was one bit you can see where he won a tackle and put the ball out for a throw and just had this beaming smile on his face. He turned to run back into position. It sort of just seems like he's got that sort of confidence in his body and his ability again. And yeah, even like, I know he wasn't maybe the best, most economical with the ball at times yesterday, but if you look at when he was given the ball, where he was looking to play those passes, pretty much every single time he gave the ball away, it was to try and get Forest in the attack. You could see the idea, you could see what he was trying to do, you could see how he's going to set us in motion on the front foot, get us at them from the get-go. It just wasn't quite there, unfortunately for him, but he was brilliant yesterday. The way he knitting play around, getting stuck in, just being an overall menace. It was just so good to see that version in the game, because he's another one. Like, he's had, obviously, like I said before, and I know I've said on this podcast before, I wouldn't necessarily start him. I think that was quite a big sort of concern, because we still know that you've got to be very careful with him coming back from an injury that is, quite dramatic, really. Like I said to you before, if you damage your hamstring or pull your calf or something like that, you don't necessarily see it. But obviously, if you have your ankle sort of broken like that, you kind of do see it, and it's very, disturbing. So it's almost like ignorance is sort of bliss in that regards. But so he has to overcome that hurdle. We've seen him on the training videos putting his ankle in like a bucket of water after training sessions and that sort of stuff, still swelling up. It's not an easy injury to come back from. In previous years, that was a season ender, and we've got him back within a few months, so way ahead of schedule. And you see fans saying, "Oh, he's crap. He's got to be sold. He's not good enough. Is this, that, and the other?" I've said consistently before, our centre midfield area is, in terms of depth, it's probably where we're best stocked. Because you can have players like Danilo to come in and sort of, the quality's there. We've seen him. We've seen the quality. We've seen how good he can be. We've seen how influential the team he can be. So to see him get back to that standard is really, really good. It's really important. We're obviously going to mention Anderson, how great he was yesterday, and rightfully so. Like Danny touched upon earlier, best player in the pitch by a mile yesterday, Anderson. But Danilo was great. Really, really good yesterday. And I think they're fairly similar in terms of how they play at times. So maybe we do get to a point where we sort of can give Anderson a little bit of a rest at times where he needs it, because like we said before in this podcast, he's played so much football this year, more so than he ever has in his entire career. So when he has moments like last week at Everton, if Danilo's going to be playing like this, that's a really good thing for Forest. He's go, right, you out, you in, you don't lose anything. So yeah, it was really, really pleasing to see him play that well yesterday, and I really hope that's him sort of over that hump now, and we can start to see the best of him from here on out again.
Yeah, I mean, I thought there was a moment where he went for a 50-50 tackle on the edge of our box, and he come out of it, and he come out with the ball and then started an attack. And I was like, that should give him a world of confidence, because he come out of it unscathed, and it was one of those where both players are like kicking the ball at the same time, and he's just I don't know, I think he nailed Kulusevski, and I was like, yes, go on. So yeah, no, it was great to see. I mean, Danny, did you want to add anything there?
I was just going to say, I think Danilo's in the few that we've got in the actual, like, when it comes to, like, we say, like, with Gibbs White, and I'd probably go maybe Elanga and Hudson-Odoi. I think Danilo's the only other one. If he has a good game, we will win that game of football. I think the others, they can have good games, and I feel like if Danilo plays well, we will win. Like, because that's the level. But the thing is with Danilo, it's consistency. There's no in between really. Is either not really great, or it's. I just don't like when people talk the 7-0 winning against Brighton. They go, oh no, they had no midfield. They did. Second half, they brought 2 centre midfielders on. We still scored 3. It's like I think Danilo's of that quality. When he's on it, he'll win you a game. And I thought, like Christian said yesterday, it was brilliant. Everything he did it looked like he was playing with a cigar on at times. Everything just looked easy. He looked like he got yards of space. And you're right, Adam, that tackle. I think that tackle will mean more to him than maybe a goal, because that's one of them. It's touching on the injury. He's done it landing. No one's near him. No one's tackled him. So how can you even going into a tackle? You're thinking, well, into tackle, that's done it. It's like it's just the confidence. I mean, people that called him, I can't understand it. It's like he's lucky to be playing football again, like this season. With his first game of the season, his foot hanging wrong way around. It's like, it's a credit to everything. Nuno loves him, we all love him. It's nice to see a smile, like you say. And if we get a couple more of them performances to the end of the season, then we'll all be more than happy, not we?
Yes, definitely. I mean, Reece, you're going to round it off a little bit. We've got to talk about Harry Toffolo. You've got his shirt in the background. He says he's going to Wembley for a third time in his career, hoping for it to be actually on the winning side for a change. And we obviously listened to his post-match yesterday, which I think was a nice touch as well.
Well, last time he dived, didn't he? So don't do that this time, Harry. Get yourself booked. I mean, what can you say? Very bold for Nuno to bring him in, because it's something we spoke about on the pod. A few fans have been saying, yeah, it kind of should be in, but he's not played all season. That was his first Premier League start last night. And as we saw with Danilo the other weekend against Manchester United, if you're not up to speed, you get made to look silly in this league. But he come in, and what a performance, because to come in from the cold and just perform, just stuck to his task, didn't do anything stupid. And he is a top professional, into Harry Toffolo. I can't imagine him. He's going to be banging on Nuno's door like, why am I not playing? He's just happy to get on with it, keep himself fit, like he said on his interview on Radio Nottingham. And when the chance comes, take his chance. And let's be honest, it'll probably be a swan song these last few games for him at Forest. And he'll go in the summer, probably drop it back down to the Championship. But he can go with his head held high, what he's done for the club over the 3 years he's been here. On and off the pitch. And I found his interview last night, I thought it was superb, so refreshing, honest. And you couldn't be happier for someone coming into the team and performing like he did last night. He was brilliant. Just stuck to his task, man. That's all he needs to do, because Odobert, it was tricky, very quick. And a couple of times they get a bit of joy. Like Danny said earlier, Brennan Johnson, if you smash him, he was the one who smashed him, not Morato. I don't think he wants to know then. Jack Robinson did that when we played Sheffield United last season, start of the season. I don't think he went near him again all game. So he kind of knew, he nipped that in the bud. I know he took a yellow for it, but yeah, brilliant. And it gives me, we needed him, because we don't know what's going to happen Sunday. We need 2 fullbacks. We've got 2 left backs now. It's always been throughout Forest history. We haven't got 1 left back. Now we've got 2, and we've not got a right back. So hopefully, Ola Einers, there is rumours that they kind of trying to get him ready for this game. I mean, if he is fit, he's going to play. Toffolo's probably going to play left back, isn't he, ahead of Moreno? So if that is the case, but yeah, I gave him my man of the match because, and I agree totally with Danny and Christian, Elliot Anderson on any other given night was man of the match because he was brilliant. But for someone to come in a Premier League game who's not played all season and just put in that performance for the team, and in 90 minutes as well, he's not like he's blowing out his backside after 17. He's got to go off. Brilliant. And that's what we need. We need the squad to come on and do things like, Taro come on last night. Yeah, he had that air shot and we all had a bit of a chuckle. And like Daddy said, sometimes it looked like he couldn't run. But at the end, what did he do? He held the ball up in the corner, physical, saw extra time out brilliantly. Souza come on, just got us up the pitch a bit more. People's just got to come on and do jobs with us, because this is where we're at. We can't hark back to January and say, well, we should have signed this player, we should have signed that player. This is what we've got now, and everybody's going to play a part to the end of the season. And yeah, Harry Toffolo showed that last night. He was immense, and yeah, it's just so pleased for him. And it was touching as well, like he said, the comment for his family that, I think his son and his wife, and that was in the crowd last night. And obviously the away fans, were singing the Toffolo's song. He said his lad was in tears and stuff, and saying, obviously we've given him, a memory for life. So I thought that was great. I'll start crying now, so I'll leave it at that.
So,
this emotional roller coaster of Champions League. Brilliant.
If Harry Toffolo is somehow listening to this, do not worry. That will be getting sang around Wembley and Box Park for eternity, as long as we can, because it is a good one. Because it can get
just such a good repeat. It's just such a good bloke, isn't he? Like the stuff he does off the pitch and that as well. You know how it is in this day and age. Some footballers don't want to give you time of day, do they? And that just shows you what kind of person he is, and to come in and put that performance in. Last night, out from the cold, that's exactly what we needed last night. So, brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Sunday's going to come round quick, guys. I know we're all making the journey to Wembley. I mean, it's going to be an interesting one. Like you said, Reece, we've got 2 left backs, we've got no right back. I don't think even Herrera is fit, to be honest. So it's kind of like, what do you do? Like, I ain't got a clue. I mean, one question I do want to ask you all, and I want a quick answer to it. If Olaine is only like 70% fit, but he could be 100% fit for Brentford, do you play him, yes or no? Reece, I'll start with you.
You've got to, mate. It's the FA Cup semi-final. You take it game by game. If he's even if he can give you maybe an hour, you've got to, because he's the best fullback at the club, and we haven't got any other right back. Like, this is no disrespect to Moreira, but he's a young kid. He's really an under-23s. I said that at the start of the season. People were saying, oh, yeah, well, he's in and around the first team. It was saying when we signed this lad who Romano was bigging up, saying a last-minute gift for Nuno. It was clear he was going to be in the under-23s, because he's been playing in the second tier of Dutch football. Not going to come into the Premier League all of a sudden. You can't really... We seen it at City away, didn't we, when Nuno chucked him on Moreira. Doku must have gone by him about 4 or 5 times. I said to you, Adam, like, this is just not good for his development, really. And we've not really, even at Exeter, it was a bit of a struggle for him. So yeah, we need Aina back if he's even 50% fit, mate. I get what you're saying about the rest of the season, but you obviously got all this red zone and stuff now, haven't they? Even if he could just give us a half or something, I would, because they're both massive for the club. The FA Cup and the league. We've not been in my lifetime. We've not been to an FA Cup final, even a semi-final. So it's a massive game for me Saturday. And if Aina's fit, then yeah, you got to play him for me.
Danny,
so I'm a no. If he's not 100%, it's if he's got injured for the rest of the season. It's at the end of the day, Moreno can go there. It's like people. He's not a crap player. Do you know what I mean? We could have. If Moreno puts a shift in like he did at Liverpool, we'll be absolutely fine. Do you know
just because he's not. Do you know, if we had actually a fit right back and a fit left back, I'd say no. But because obviously someone's going to have to play on that right side who's not usually playing, it's a bit of a concern.
But you could argue, well, I'd argue, Nico Williams into right back. He's not a right back.
No, he ain't.
So he's done it. Nico Williams has gone, he's not a right back. It's like Nico Williams' strength is he's playing on the left-hand side and he's defending the majority on his right foot because most wingers cut inside. So the only argument you could have is if Moreno goes out there, he'll be defending on his strong foot if they're coming inside. So for me, if you're saying he's not fit and it's a risk to play him, I wouldn't play him now, personally. And if he's going to be fit the week after, then yeah, I'd play him after that. If you're saying he's fit, obviously he plays his best fullback we've got. He's probably the best fullback in the league for me, well, right back. So, but if we're going to risk him, if you're asking me, would I risk him? the answer for me is no.
No, if it was for me, if you say, look, if you play him and he's a real possibility he's going to get injured, then you'd be foolish to play him. But obviously, I'm saying if the medical staff say, look, Nuno, he's not fully fit, but he can probably give you an half or an hour, then you probably would. So we'll have to see, won't we? I mean, if he's dancing around in the dressing room this week, then maybe he's a little bit.
If he's in full vibes cartel leader mode, then we've got hope, haven't we, Christian? Yeah. I suppose I could have my say, but I mean, you're kind of the deciding vote, I guess.
It's difficult, isn't it? I mean, how often these things come round? Yes, you say it for both, can't you? I think you have to be. I think the only thing that concerns me is a lack of viable alternative. You could play. I mean, obviously we spoke about maybe Moreno playing there. Maybe you're right. Maybe he can cut in on his, use his left foot to defend players to cut inside, for example. And City players will do that, especially with Doku on that side, for example. But I don't know. I just think it's just a balance Aina gives you as well on that side. He gives you so much more than just a normal fullback in that regard. I think if he's 70% fit, the thing is, I don't really like you basically saying as well you're losing a sub because you're saying, right, you're giving us 45 now. Cheers. Right, we're subbed out now. If you get another injury later in the game, it's like, well, now what? So I'd maybe lean against starting him. I'd have him on the bench. And if you can get, say, for example, if you get, say, Moreno plays for an hour and then you can say, I've got half hour on me, fine, okay, put him on then. But I don't know if I start him. I think it's probably too much of a risk. But then none of the options are good. Like, it's either you're talking about, we've spoken before, do you play Hudson-Odoi there? You lose your left wing threat completely. Do you play Moreno there and play Toffolo, for example? So, okay, well, one of them's going to be on an unfamiliar side. And, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would start him if you knew he was going to be fully fit for the Brentford game as well, because I think that's just as important as Sunday, really.
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, I lean towards saying no. I think Thursday's far. They're both important. I don't want to downplay the FA Cup either.
If he's going to be fully fit, it's how you worded the question. Well, if he's going to be fully fit for Brentford, he's going to be a bit fit at least, isn't he, for Sunday? He's not going to be injured on Sunday and then fully recovered by Thursday.
You think like the magic sponge will come out?
Yeah. Look, the club are going to know, aren't they? They won't be stupid. They won't be like, oh God, there's a real, like we've done with Taiwo in the past, haven't we? When because Steve Cooper couldn't get a tune out of any other striker, he was obviously massive for his system. The club will know what to do. They're not going to take it if it's a risk where you're thinking, yeah, we're going to get him out for the rest of the season. They're not going to do it, are they? If he's like maybe I don't know, half to fully fit, he's probably going to play some part. Whether he starts or not, I don't know. We don't know how fit he is, do we? That's it.
I'll be asking this question in the preview to some of us. I think.
Just a quick I just feel like we did it with Wood at Everton, and Wood wasn't fit enough to compete in that game. Yeah, true. It was like having a black bin up front. Like, I'm not being funny. Like, it was like Anna Wheeler bin up front. Like, it couldn't move, and that's no. I'm not going to sit here and slag Chris Wood off. But that's what you're talking. The level is that much. You can't carry a passenger. We carried a passenger in that game. We all knew it. It couldn't move. It could not move. It couldn't even compete. He couldn't run. If you're putting him against, like you say, could you imagine if Doku does play and he's going to be running at him at 50% fitness? You're just asking for trouble. But, like you say, what we can say about Nuno is brilliant with injuries, isn't he? He's been brilliant all season. If he chucks him in and he thinks he's fit enough, then I'll be more than happy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, before we wrap up, guys, I'm just going to get a score prediction for Sunday, obviously. Danny, I'll start with yourself. Score prediction for the FA Cup semi-final against Manchester City of all teams.
I'm going to go 1-1. We win on penalties.
Oh, for goodness sake. I can't be dealing with penalties again. We need to win a game in 90. This is like Portugal Euros. We're just going to house it.
Well, they won their semi-final 2-0 against Wales, which was their only win for
let's hope that's the case. All right. Reece?
Win on pens, mate. Forest.
For goodness sake. All right. Christian?
I'm going to go 2-1 Forest.
2-1 in 90 minutes or extra time? Or 2-1 on penalties?
Yeah, be a pretty bad shootout. It was 2-1 on penalties.
2-1 on penalties.
No, I'm gonna be bold and say normal time. But yeah, 2-1 Forest.
Blimey. I mean, I'm going to say a sneaky 1-0, and I think maybe Callum does it again. Maybe we do the same kind of trick, but it's going to be a bloody tough game. I'm looking forward to it because City have been there so many times. Like it's like a second home for them. So for us, it's going to be a great day out. Regardless, I think the whole City will be down there, won't they? So
28 in 14 years it is City.
that's boring, isn't it? They're boring. They're so boring. Just let us win, guys. Come on. Right, yeah. No, but thank you very much for everyone joining us. Everyone that got their slept on it thoughts, guys. Thank you very much. Hopefully, see you all on Sunday in some capacity. Hope it all goes well. Hope everyone has a great week. Until then, we'll see you in the previews. Come on, you Reds.